Okay, 5 minutes. Got my red glasses, got my cozy sweater. Already running out of time today, and I wasn't really sure what could I talk about today again. But you know, I guess I'll spend 5 minutes talking about this documentary that I watched last night on Netflix about this girl named Gabby and her boyfriend Brian. It was like such big news in was it 2021? I can't even remember where Gabby, this girl, and her boyfriend went on this road trip together. They bought a van, they renovated the van, and then she was making this blog, working on her vlog to showcase her van life and their travels together. And obviously, it was like a horrible story. And then her boyfriend, turns out to be a crazy guy and murders her. Anyways, the thing that was interesting for me is I remember when that was all unfolding, and I did remember how her the video of them first came out, and having all these questions about what was happening with them. But watching the documentary, it was interesting for me to notice that I was thinking a lot about how hard it is to actually become this kind of travel video blogger van life couple. I mean, I think those were the years where that was really blowing up in terms of like a thing that was really interesting and really fun and could be a could be your job, and obviously really attractive for a lot of people. Like the idea of just becoming like a travel blogger and earning money off of it just sounds amazing. I mean, it still sounds amazing, and people are still doing it. But I was thinking so much about that and how these two people, let's just say focus on Gabby. She's 20 years old or 22 and has very little money. She's not working. I didn't know she saved up all her money at working 50 hours a week at Taco Bell so that they could buy a van and turn it into a camper, and then just set out on the road and 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 hope for the best. I mean, she seemed like a really energetic, cool person. So I think she would have made it. I think had this really unfortunate thing not happen, she might have actually made it. But I also just was thinking like it's so much work to do that. It looks one way and it looks like a lot of fun, but I mean, I've been on so many trips with partners, road trips, vacations that have gotten stressful and turned into arguments. Just on a normal vacation, let alone the stress and the pressure of turning that trip into your job, and and also doing all the work, like they showed some footage of her, having to set up her drone or, set up her camera, and then she's got to film, and then she's got to edit and constantly be on. There were a few clips where it showed how, she set up her camera by this kind of waterfall area and then, kind of posing, trying to get the good shot. And to me, I'm like, I get that. That makes sense. Like, you have to do that if you're filming yourself, kind of. I mean, everybody wants to be natural, but if you're making videos for your vlog, you want them to look nice. You do kind of got to get some angles and reenact things and, get the good light and all this stuff. And it's just like, wow, what a lot of work. And I think all that work that it takes, that people do for their YouTubes and their blogs like this, is rarely ever showcased or shown. And that's definitely not what the documentary was about at all. It's just about how unfortunate this thing is that happened, that she was murdered because of this like psycho guy. But anyways, I guess that's my sharing. Just I can imagine how stressed out both of them were in this situation. That's not excusing any bad behavior at all, but I do understand. I can imagine that this was a lot of work and she was really stressed out. And I don't think they just had a bunch of funds in their bank to just like last them for the next 2 or 3 years. I think it was like all hinging on this project working out and becoming like a payday. And anyways, that's my 5 minutes. Making a vlog, a travel vlog with a partner is a lot of work and hard, I imagine, and really stressful. And so, I think that's just like really too bad. I think it would be nice if it would be cool if some documentaries came out that kind of showcased behind the scenes different influencers. Like take some of these influencers like Mr. Beast, take a really famous podcaster like a Diary of the CEO. Just get a cross section of all the different influencer types that are really famous and probably making good money, and do some behind the scenes on what it really takes and how much work it really is and how long it takes to get there. Because otherwise, you don't really see a lot of that. And, if you're lucky, you kind of pick up on the clues or the hints. For example, I was watching a podcast, Diary of the CEO, and offhand, uh, they showed a shot of his studio and his workplace, and it was huge, like a movie set. And they had their offices, and there were like 30 people employed in the offices. And then he did mention in that same episode that, yeah, there's like 30 employees, like just for that podcast. That's crazy. Like, holy shit. I mean, the company I work for, we don't have 30 employees, and because there's just a lot of this assumption sometimes when I'm watching somebody like that or some other podcasters that are really big, you kind of think they're just like this one guy or this one girl doing a podcast. But at that level, that seems to never really be the case. It's a lot more going on the periphery. Anyways, now I'm at like 10 minutes. I apologize, but that idea, I'm just running with it. Behind the scenes cross section of influencers and how much work it takes and how long. I think that would be really good for a lot of us on social media to see. Happy Tuesday.